welcome to today's session of Scholar Strategy. So, on my Facebook group, I had asked what video to show next, and I had received some suggestions. And I liked this particular one where Salesh was asking, how do you tailor your resume when you're applying for internships and jobs? So, I thought that that is the topic I'm going to pick today. By the way, this is our Facebook group, and if you want to keep discussing about how to make the most of your grad school journey, then please feel free to join here. Okay, so as I've told you, today I'm going to discuss not for your applications, but how to create and tailor your resume when you're applying for internships or jobs in grad school. So now I have already written a lot about this topic, but from the application point of view, still that advice I feel is pretty useful. So if you search for Scholar Strategy Resume, you will find the blog post, and you can go through that to see what is the ideal length of the resume, what kind of content should be there, what sections should go in there, etc, etc. So I'm not going to rehash the advice from that article because you can already see it here. So assuming you have already read it, now I'm going to just review two or three real resumes of the students and see what we can improve there. Right, so some general gyan. Here we go. So we have, I have here like couple of resumes in front of me, and these are from the real students. So I've just anonymized it. I have a resume here from a Dartmouth MEM candidate who's applying for internship, I believe, in product management. So the first thing that catches my eye is a good thing is it's a one-page resume with a lot of white space, easy on eyes. I do not know how I feel about this academic profile. It's kind of like the font is too big, it's standing out, it's overshadowing everything else, and I would just prefer to call it something simple like education. Next thing I see is so he has chosen to describe this program instead of telling me what he has been doing there. So I'll show you example of another resume here. This is a guy from Colombia, and he's applying for MFE, like internships in financial institutions and banking kind of jobs. And there, what I like is he has immediately highlighted the important courses that he's taking. So, especially if you're taking some relevant courses for your internship, I think that is what you should highlight here. If you have some important leadership position, chair of some society or head of the venture capital club or something like that, then that can go here, I believe. um, Another thing I do like that he has highlighted his ranking here. Again, someone could have chosen to include more relevant courses like these things which are going to directly impact on your internship hunt. Now, I believe all of you must be knowing at this point that many a times, especially if you're submitting your resume just through a website or the company's portal or something, then it might be going through a computer system which just filters out resume based on some keywords. So you have to be really careful that the job or the position that you're applying for, you have enough of those keywords in your resume. So one thing I struggled to see here was that it doesn't mention anything about product management. So I'm not sure it might happen that if you're just submitting this resume somewhere, it may not get picked up by the algorithm of that program. So be careful about that. A trick for that is sometime you can just literally put a line somewhere in the top. I like the target roles in product management, or even in some of your existing experience. If you have done anything that can be said closer to product management, then try to somehow include that phrase in your resume somewhere. Okay, so now coming back again, this font is definitely troubling me, the size of it. Next is he has highlighted his company, different positions in there. Mostly it's fine, not too many bullet points, which is okay. So what I like about here is troubleshooting over 600 customer issues, maintaining an average customer satisfaction score of this, which means top 5%, blah, 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 navigation time by 7%. So these are good things because you want to quantify as much, you want to show the impact you created on the organization instead of making it a dense block of managed this or maintained this, because those verbs really do not tell me what you have been up to. So use power words, um, like trained is a good word, reported a 20% improvement, this is good. So avoid words like generic words like managed, led, unless you are showing some kind of quantification there. Similarly, here the guy is highlighting many things. I wish there were, yes, so I would like to see more quantification here. Validated counterparty credit risk exposure measures, okay. But if there's a way to show like how much did you improve it by, or what was the end result of that, I would love to see that. Um, Other than that, I like there are like 3 to 4 bullet points. Maybe you can limit it to 3 depending on the length. But I believe that when he's applying for a financial banking positions, then he's trying to highlight as much of his work experience as he can, which is fine. It's looking a bit dense though, so I would have preferred to see a little bit more of white space. But I understand the good thing is he has again managed to keep it under one page, which is really good. So, work experience definitely matters a lot, especially if it's relevant to what you're applying for. So, you should highlight it as much as possible. I don't know if this person has highlighted it as much, because afterwards I'm seeing IIM internship, strategist, technical intern, technical services engineer, and then suddenly I'm seeing this leadership and service. I don't even know what service means here. So I think these are like extracurricular and leadership positions. So I would definitely change these headings. Then Dartmouth Graduate Consulting Group VP Operations. I would probably just move this to somewhere in here to avoid this line. Volunteering is not my favorite thing to highlight, especially when you're applying for professional positions. IEEE core committee member is fine, but would I really use so much space for extracurriculars? I'm not sure. So I think this part should be reduced and he should have more of his professional experience, or you should add course projects. So like this guy has added a course project here, which is like, in progress, but it's showing me that it's relevant to what he's applying to and academically what he's doing. So resume is all about giving talking points when you are appearing for the interview. So if he selected the, like, the interviewer might look at this and find and talk about it. Whereas in this, I don't have much, like, idea of what this person is doing at Dartmouth right now. So that is what is missing in here. So yes, I would reduce this section and add more of my academic projects or skills relevant to the position I'm applying for. Skills part is good, certification is okay, only if it's relevant to what I'm applying for. So sometimes you may not have to put everything that you have done onto the resume. So try to prioritize what is important and what is not. So these are like the least important things. Interests, again, only if you have space, then go for it. This person has ended with technical skills, soft skill activities. So kind of leadership thing you can fit into this small block here and highlight your professional and academic exposure. So that's what I'll go with. Sometime you can even have a relevant coursework section separately. So that's up to you. I will show you one more resume, which is by a super senior candidate who's also in a MIT SDM program, which is like a MEM kind of program. And she is probably again applying for project and product management kind of roles. So as you can see, she is trying to fit a lot in here, which means the font size has to go down. So this is like, this is a call you will have to take. Obviously you would prefer that it's more readable than this, so I might like to remove some bullet points and maybe just like add a little bit more space. But given her experience, I think she's trying to fit it all, which is okay. But let's just look at the section. So she's highlighting the MIT thing, she's highlighting some of her positions. She has mentioned her focus some of the curriculums and project. So I do think you should highlight whatever the most important project you are taking in your current semester. And since this person is so senior, probably she can even get rid of this. And then she's coming on to professional experience, where she is highlighting project lead and all her positions in different thing. It's looking a bit too dense, so I would definitely get rid of some of the bullet points. Successfully led and managed teams up to 50 resources distributed across. So this shows global exposure, which is fine. But I wish we can see more of the quantification. So she has tried to do that at many places. Like reduced average time of resolving customer issues is a good way of putting it. Try to make your bullet points as brief as possible. So I don't know if I would go into a sub bullet kind of a structure. I would probably avoid that. I would, so she has a lot of technical skills which she's highlighting. I would probably add so she has added MIT curriculum here, which is good. So I think this is fine. I will probably trim out some stuff here and definitely add more keywords related to what I'm applying. So I'm going to do another video on how to create targeted resumes for specific positions. So targeted resumes and targeted LinkedIn profile, and probably another video. So this was mostly to just like look at the resume. So if I have to highlight few key points about your internship resume, I would go for definitely use only one page resume. You should have and yes, you should have your LinkedIn profile in here somewhere. So I think the other two resumes do have that. So you should definitely have your LinkedIn profile on top. Your contact details should be pretty clear. Your education section should be small, and it should highlight important curriculum, projects, leadership positions, and GPA. And then go with the professional experience. Highlight it as much as you can, make it more tailored to the position. So if I'm applying for a project management, product management, I would highlight or talk about the projects in that way. More on that in the next video. And definitely, add more power words, add more quantification. um, Try to show the impact that you have created in your previous role, and try to highlight the skills and activities and all. And you can do not highlight your extracurriculars so much. So this is a no. But other than that, I think looking pretty clean. In terms of formatting, go with very clear fonts. So I think the most preferred font nowadays in the industry is Helvetica or Garamond. So try for that. Definitely avoid something like Comic Sans Serif. Times New Roman is also, I believe, not the most preferred one. So stick to Helvetica. I think it's space efficient as well. And do highlight, do use the bold and italics and underlines intelligently, so that it's easier to read. This is definitely easy to read. I probably would not use underline here. I would try to space out a bit more. So leave more gaps between the positions so that I can see. And yeah, add more keywords so that you're not defeated by the online system. But if you're definitely going through the resume submission on your on-campus websites or your career website of the school, then it's okay, because that does not go through a automated system. So I hope you get the difference there. So I hope this helps. If you have more questions about the resume, please put them in the comments, and I'll try to resolve them in through the replies, or I'll do another video. So this was a video on how a work experience candidate should create a resume for internships in grad school. I will do more videos about job hunt, internship, resume for freshers and for work ex people maybe next time. So how do you like it? Do leave me a comment and let me know. Okay, thanks guys. That's it for me for now. Bye bye.